Welcome to Moon and Fire. I'm Emily Bailey, founder of Whole and Wild, where I guide women back to their sacred wisdom through ritual and cyclical living. I'm creating this sacred space for your whole self to be here. Your wisdom, your shadows, your longings, and your fierce power. This is a podcast for women who sense there's more. More depth, more magic, more of their untamed essence waiting to be remembered and unleashed. Welcome home, sacred woman. Let's begin. Today I want to share something that might just transform how you think about integrating your most important work into your everyday life. Last week we explored resonance work, the practice of attuning to your deepest purpose, recognizing your resonant yeses and your dissonant nos, and learning to trust your body's wisdom about what truly aligns. And I know some of you listened to that episode and thought, this sounds beautiful, but when exactly am I supposed to do this? I can barely keep up with what's already on my plate. I hear you. And today I want to show you that resonance work doesn't require adding more to your already full life. It requires bringing a different quality of attention to what you're already doing. I want to teach you how to braid resonance into your hair, stir it into your tea, brush it into your teeth, how to take the raw ingredients of your daily life and infuse them with intentionality, creating something nourishing without needing extra time or space. When I was little, I was always drawn outside to play in the woods, gathering whatever I could find, leaves, flower petals, dandelions, stones, water from the hose, and mixing it all together in elaborate soups or potions. I'd spend hours collecting ingredients, combining them in old buckets or bowls, and stirring with sticks, and just convinced that I was creating something magical. My mom would watch from the window as I crouched in the grass, completely absorbed in this process. Looking back now, I realized that what I was doing wasn't just child's play. It was a fundamental human impulse, this desire to gather, combine, and create, to take disparate elements and discover what happens when you bring them together with intention. We're actually all born with this capacity. Watch any toddler with a spoon and a bowl, and you'll see them naturally stirring, mixing, combining. There's something just deeply satisfying about taking ingredients, whether they're herbs and water or moments and meaning, and creating something that's more than the sum of their parts. This is exactly what I want to invite you to do with resonance work. Not as something separate from your life that requires special time and space, but as something that you stir into what you're already doing. You're already brushing your teeth, or making your morning tea, or driving to work, or preparing meals, or brushing your hair. These aren't interruptions to your sacred work. They're the ingredients. There's a pervasive belief in spiritual and personal development circles that meaningful work requires carved out time, that you need a meditation cushion, a quiet room, 30 uninterrupted minutes, and ideal conditions to do anything worthwhile. And while I am a huge believer in space making and the power of a dedicated space and practice, I also believe that sometimes that belief can create a barrier for women. In fact, maybe most women. Because when do we have 30 uninterrupted minutes? When are conditions ideal? When is the house quiet, the children occupied, the demands paused, the schedule clear? For most of us, the answer is almost never. So we wait, and we tell ourselves, I'll start a meditation practice when things calm down. I'll do that resonance work and I have more time. I'll focus on my purpose after I finish this project, after the kids are older, after I'm less busy. We treat our most important work as something separate from our daily lives, something that requires special conditions that we don't currently have. But here's what I know to be true. The most sustainable, transformative practices aren't the ones that we do separately from our lives. They're the ones that we weave into the fabric of our days. They're the intentions that we stir into our tea, the awareness that we braid into our hair, the attunement that we brush into our teeth. When we stop waiting for ideal conditions and start infusing what we're already doing with deeper intentionality, everything changes. Our ordinary moments become doorways. Our daily routines become rituals. Our regular activities become vehicles for the very transformation that we've been postponing. So I want to introduce you to this practice called layering, and it's also called stacking. So depending on where you hear it from, but the practice of taking something you're already doing and adding a layer of intentionality, awareness, or meaning to it. So think about it like this. You're already making tea or coffee in the morning. That's the base ingredient, the thing that's happening anyway. Layering means bringing conscious intention to that moment, maybe stirring in a quality that you want to embody that day. Maybe using those few minutes while the water heats to check in with your resonance. Maybe setting an intention as you take your first sip. You haven't added anything to your schedule. You haven't created a new obligation. You've simply brought more of yourself to something that you were doing anyway. This is how we make resonance work accessible. Not by finding more time, but by bringing more presence to the time we already have. So let me start with some of my favorite practices. Stirring intention into your morning drink. Whether you're making tea, coffee, matcha, or even just heating water with lemon, this daily ritual is already happening. You're already standing in your kitchen, already waiting for water to heat, already stirring or sipping. This is your raw ingredient. Here's how you layer resonance work into it. As the water heats, take a moment to settle into your body. Place one hand on your heart. Ask yourself, what does my purpose need from me today? Or what quality do I want to embody? Don't think about it. Let the answer arise from your body's knowing. Maybe what comes is presence. Maybe it's courage. Maybe it's ease or clarity or trust. Whatever word or feeling emerges, receive it without judgment. As you stir your drink, imagine you're literally stirring that quality into the liquid. See it dissolving into the water like honey, infusing every molecule. If your word is presence, visualize presence spiraling into your tea with every rotation of your spoon. If it's courage, see courage being mixed in, cell by cell. This isn't just metaphorical. You're programming your nervous system, creating an embodied association between this daily act and the quality that you're invoking. You're making meaning out of the mundane. As you take your first sip, feel that quality enter your body. Taste the presence, the courage, the ease. Let it land in your belly. Acknowledge that you're literally taking this intention into yourself, making it part of your physical being. Throughout the day, each time you drink from that cup, you're reminded of your intention. The beverage becomes a touchstone, a physical anchor for what you're cultivating. One of my core intentions right now is investing my presence on purpose, being deliberate about where I place my attention rather than scattering it unconsciously. Every morning, I literally stir this intention into my tea. As I drink it throughout my morning, I'm reminded, am I investing my presence on purpose right now? Is this where I want my energy to go? This simple practice takes no extra time, but it transforms my morning tea from a caffeine delivery system into a sacred act of alignment. Another beautiful way to layer resonance work into your day is through hair care. Whether you're brushing, braiding, styling, or simply running your fingers through your hair, this is another activity that's probably already happening. Here's how you bring intention to it. As you begin, think about what you want to bring into your day or what you want to release. Hair has long been associated with power, intuition, and connection to the divine feminine. So when you tend to your hair, you're tending to these energies. If you're braiding or twisting, imagine you're literally weaving your intention into each strand. With each cross of hair, you're creating a physical manifestation of what you're calling in. I'm braiding in trust. I'm weaving in my wild wisdom. I'm plaiting together my fragmented powers. You could braid in equality, strength, softness, clarity. You could braid in an affirmation. I trust my body's knowing. You could braid in a commitment. I honor my resonant yeses today. If you're brushing, you can use the motion to brush things out as well as in. Brush out doubt. Brush out the voices that aren't yours. Brush out yesterday's stress. Then brush in confidence. Brush in your own authority. Brush in the energy you want to carry. With each stroke, imagine that you're clearing away what doesn't serve and inviting in what does. Hairbrushing becomes an energetic cleansing and recalibration. I love this practice because it's so tactile and rhythmic. The repetitive motion naturally causes almost a meditative state, and you're literally doing something with your hands while working with energy and intention. It engages both your body and your consciousness. Teeth brushing is another perfect opportunity for layering. You're already doing it twice a day, why not make it meaningful? So while brushing, this is an ideal time for the resonance check-in we learned last week. You have a built-in timer, the 2 minutes you're supposed to brush. Your hands are occupied, which can actually help quiet the analyzing mind. So as you brush, bring to your mind a decision that you're facing. It could be as significant as a career choice or as simple as how to spend your evening. Feel into it while you brush. Does thinking about this option create expansion or contraction in your body? Does your breath deepen or shorten? Does energy move toward it or away? By the time you're done brushing, you'll have a clearer sense of your resonance with that choice. Alternatively, you could use this time to connect with a part of yourself that you haven't checked in with lately. Your creative self, how is she doing? Your wild self, what does she need? Your wise elder, what does she want you to know? Brush your teeth and simultaneously tend to the different aspects of your being. Hello, my angry self. I know I've been ignoring you. What do you need me to hear? Hello, my joyful self. Where have you been hiding? What would help you emerge? Or you could simply speak an affirmation with each section of your mouth. Upper right, I trust my body's wisdom. Lower right, I honor my resonant yeses. Upper left, I create boundaries that serve me. Lower left, I'm aligned with my purpose. What I love about this practice is that oral care is such a basic, mundane necessity, but when we bring intentionality to it, we're literally cleansing not just our mouths, but our energy, our alignment, and our connection to ourselves. Some of the richest opportunities for layering resonance work are the transitions that we move through all day long, those threshold moments between one activity and another. These are the times when we usually spend mindlessly scrolling our phones or rushing anxiously towards the next thing. But they're actually doorways, perfect moments to pause, attune, and realign. The drive or commute between work and home, or between home and work, is a transition. Instead of filling it with podcasts or letting your mind spin with worries, you could use even 5 minutes as you check in with your resonance. As you drive, feel into the day ahead. What lights you up? What feels heavy? Where do you sense alignment? Where do you notice resistance? You don't need to change anything or figure anything out. Just notice and acknowledge what's true. Walking from one room to another is a micro transition. You can choose to do it mindfully, using those few steps to take a breath, drop into your body, and ask, am I present right now? Am I aligned with my intention? Even things like before opening your laptop or starting a work session, pause for 3 breaths. Feel your feet on the ground. Place a hand on your heart. Ask what's mine to do right now and what wants to move through me. Before responding to a text or an email or any request, take one full breath and feel into your resonance. Is this a yes? Is this a no? What does my body know about this that my mind doesn't? These transition moments are already happening dozens of times a day. We're not adding anything. We're just bringing consciousness to the spaces between, turning them into opportunities for attunement rather than mindless rushing. Preparing and eating food also offers endless opportunities for layering resonance work. While cooking, you're already stirring, chopping, seasoning, tasting. What if you brought the same intentionality to your food preparation as you brought to your morning tea? As you chop vegetables, imagine that you're releasing what no longer serves with each cut. As you stir a pot, visualize yourself stirring in nourishment, not just for your body, but for your whole being. As you season, think about what qualities you want to season your life with. More play, more rest, more creative expression. You could hold a specific intention as you cook. I'm preparing this meal as an act of self-care. I'm infusing this food with gratitude. I'm cooking with presence rather than rushing. While eating, even if you can only manage it for the first 3 bites, bring full awareness to the experience. Taste consciously. Chew slowly. Notice texture, temperature, flavor. This is a resonance practice. Being fully present to what is rather than eating while scrolling or planning or worrying. You could also use mealtime to practice gratitude, mentally acknowledging all the hands and elements that brought this food to your plate. Or you could eat in conversation with your body. How does this feel? What do I actually want? Am I eating from hunger or from habit? The act of nourishing yourself can actually become an act of listening to yourself. And here's a more literal approach to layering. Carrying a physical object that reminds you of your intention or practice. This could be a small stone that you found on a walk, a crystal that represents a quality you're cultivating, a bead from a meaningful bracelet, even a folded piece of paper with a word or phrase written on it. Throughout your day, whenever you put your hand in your pocket or purse and encounter this object, let it be a prompt. Am I aligned right now? Am I honoring my resonance? Am I present to what matters? You don't need to stop what you're doing or create a formal practice moment. Just the tactile reminder brings your awareness back to your intention. The object becomes a physical anchor for your resonance work. I sometimes carry a small smooth stone in my pocket. Every time I feel it, reach for my keys, my phone, or whatever, it's a tiny invitation to pause and check in. Am I here? Am I present? Am I aligned with what matters? That split second of remembering dozens of times a day creates a consistent thread of consciousness woven through my hours. One of the simplest and most powerful ways to layer resonance work into your day requires nothing external at all, just your breath. The practice is this. Between any 2 activities, take 1 full, conscious breath. You finish a work call, 1 breath before starting the next task. You close your laptop, 1 breath before standing up. You park your car, 1 breath before getting out. You hang up the phone, 1 breath before moving on. This single breath becomes a reset button. It's a micro pause that interrupts the momentum of unconscious rushing and creates a tiny space for presence. In that breath, you could ask, what's most important right now? Or, am I aligned? Or simply, am I here? You don't need answers. The question itself, asked with 1 conscious breath, brings you back to yourself. The practice takes virtually no time, a few seconds scattered throughout your day. but the cumulative effect is profound. You're no longer careening from one thing to the next on autopilot. You're creating conscious transitions, tiny doorways of awareness, regular invitations to come back to your resonance. So let me share one more layering practice. This one is for the end of your day. You're already going through a bedtime routine of some kind, washing your face, changing your clothes, whatever your evening rituals are. These actions are already happening. So as you wash your face, imagine you're washing away the energy of the day that isn't yours to carry. The stress, the expectations, the roles you were playing, the masks you wore. Let them rinse away with the water. What's left is you, stripped down to your essence. As you change into sleep clothes, imagine that you're literally removing the identity of the day and stepping into your most authentic self. You're taking off worker, mother, partner, responsible adult, and revealing the wild, essential being underneath. As you get into bed, place both hands on your heart and take 3 breaths. Ask yourself, what did I learn today about my resonance? Where did I honor it? Where did I override it? What wants to be acknowledged? You don't need to journal or process deeply, just acknowledge what's true. This simple act of noticing creates continuity in your practice. You're checking in with yourself, completing the day's cycle, and setting the foundation for tomorrow's attunement. Here's what I want you to understand. Transformation doesn't happen in grand gestures. It happens in the accumulation of small moments of consciousness woven consistently through your days. Every time you stir intention into your tea, you're strengthening your capacity to recognize and honor your resonance. Every time you pause for one conscious breath between activities, you're building the muscle of presence. Every time you check in with your body while brushing your teeth, you're deepening your connection to your inner knowing. These aren't frivolous add-ons to your real work. These are how real work happens, not in addition to your life, but infused into the fabric of your life. You're not creating separate practice time. You're transforming the time you already have into practice. You're taking the raw ingredients of your ordinary day, tea, hair, teeth, transitions, breath, and creating something nourishing, something that feeds your soul while you're feeding your body, that attunes to you to purpose while you're moving through practical tasks. This is the soup making impulse grown up. This is taking what you have, where you are, and making something meaningful out of it. This is sacred work disguised as everyday life. Now, everything I've shared today becomes especially potent when you're in a threshold moment, when you're standing at the edge of a significant life transition, sensing that you're moving from one chapter into another. Maybe you're approaching motherhood or navigating what comes after your children leave home. Maybe you're considering a career shift or ending a significant relationship. Maybe you're entering a new decade of life or recovering from loss. Maybe you're stepping into leadership or finally claiming creative work that's been calling you. Whatever the threshold, these are moments when resonance work moves from helpful to essential. Because at these crossroads, your old operating systems often stop working. The strategies that got you here won't get you there. The logic of your previous chapter doesn't apply to the new one. This is when you need resonance work more than ever to discern what wants to come with you into the new chapter and what needs to be released. To recognize opportunities that serve your emerging self versus those that would keep you tethered to who you've been. To trust your body's knowing when your mind doesn't have a map. And this is also when the layering practices we've been exploring today become your anchors. When everything else feels uncertain, you have your morning tea ritual grounding you. When you don't know who you're becoming, you have these conscious breaths between activities, bringing you back to presence. When the threshold feels overwhelming, you have these small, consistent moments of attunement, reminding you that you know the way forward, even when you can't see it clearly yet. These practices don't just help you survive the transition, they help you navigate it with wisdom, integrate its lessons, and cross into your next chapter with clarity and sacred authority. If you're sensing that you're at one of these threshold moments right now, or if you've been feeling the call to understand how to navigate life's major transitions with more consciousness and grace, I want to invite you to join me tomorrow for a free workshop I'm offering called Sacred Passage. Tomorrow, Thursday, we're going to explore together how to recognize when you're at a threshold, how to honor the liminal space between chapters without rushing through it, and how to cross with the kind of clarity and power that comes from deep attunement to your resonance. And if you're listening after that, you can catch the replay, or I actually do this workshop seasonally, so check in. Maybe I'm doing another one soon. But I'd love to just invite you to join if it's resonant with you. If you've been listening to these episodes on resonance work and think, I need this, but need help applying it to the specific threshold you're in right now, this workshop is for you. You can register at wholeandwild.com/sacred-passage-workshop. The link will also be in the show notes. It's completely free and it's tomorrow, Thursday morning. So if you're at a threshold, please join me tomorrow. Bring your questions, your uncertainty, your sense of standing at an edge. We'll work with it together, and I'll share the specific tools and wisdom for navigating these sacred passages with grace. Whether you're at a major life threshold right now or simply wanting to weave more consciousness into your everyday life, let me make starting simple for you. Choose one. Just one practice that resonates with you from what we've explored today. Maybe it's stirring intention into your morning beverage. Maybe it's the breath between activities. Maybe it's the resonance check-in while you're brushing your teeth. Maybe it's braiding something into your hair or carrying a stone in your pocket. Do it consistently for 1 week. Not perfectly, just consistently. Notice what happens. How does it feel to bring this layer of intentionality to something you were doing anyway? What shifts after you infuse the mundane with meaning? After a week, if it feels natural, add one more. But don't rush to collect practices like accomplishments. The power is in the consistency and the presence you bring to one thing, not in how many things you're doing. Remember, you're not trying to add more to your plate. You're trying to be more present with what's already on your plate. You're trying to infuse the mundane with meaning, to turn your ordinary moments into doorways, to braid your sacred work into the very fabric of your days. As we come to the close of our time together, I want to leave you with this image. That little girl making soup in the backyard wasn't just playing. She was doing what humans have always done, taking raw ingredients and discovering what happens when you bring them together with intention and care. You have raw ingredients all around you, all day long. Ordinary moments, routine tasks, necessary actions. They're not obstacles to your sacred work. They're the medium for it. What will you stir into your tea tomorrow morning? What will you braid into your hair? What will you fold into your day? Your resonance work doesn't require more time. It requires more presence. It doesn't need special conditions. It needs your willingness to bring consciousness to what you're already doing. You don't have to wait until life calms down or circumstances align. You can begin right now with what's in your hands, with the very next ordinary moment. This week, I invite you to choose one layering practice and make it yours. Play with it, adjust it, let it become as natural as stirring soup, as instinctive as breathing. And if you're at that threshold, I invite you to join me at Sacred Passage tomorrow. May you find the sacred in the mundane. May you weave meaning into your ordinary moments. And may you trust that transformation happens in small, consistent acts of consciousness. And may you remember that you don't need more time. You need more presence in the time you have. Remember the sacred cycles. Reclaim your radiant fire. Unleash your intuitive magic. Thank you so much for being here, Sacred Woman. Until next time.